If you don't have all of the correct characters and you don't have the right kill order, the Doom Raids can be a big problem for you and your alliance. And if you're not running it every single day, well, eventually you will be. Yeah, those Silver Surfer shards and those milestones are looking pretty good. So if you're ready to start to smash those Doom Raids on a daily basis, I'm talking about the teams that I am using the Doom Raids, some recommended teams, and we're gonna go into each node and discuss the kill order and some challenges you might face on each node. So if you're ready for all of that, guys, find that like button and let's go smash the Doom Raids.
ValleyFlyin.
Hello. What is up, Valley Maniacs? I am ValleyFlyin. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel, and I hope you and your alliance are ready to smash the Doom Raids, because that's what we're talking about today. In this video, I'm going to talk about the teams that I'm using in the Doom Raids right now. We're going to talk about some other team recommendations that I have for the Doom Raids, because I don't have all the ideal characters yet either. So we're going to talk about the ideal teams, and then we're going to go into each node by node, and we're going to talk about the kill order for each section. So let's go and take a look at the Doom Raids right now. We're going to go into msf.gg onto the maps there, and boom. So this is what the Doom Raids look like. If you're not running this yet, you will be at some point. Now we got mutant sections here, and if we look, this node right here, it highlights all these nodes because these are the same exact nodes. So J8, I7, F7, E6, B6, and A5, they are all the same node, the exact same enemies. And if we go into msf.gg, we see some other corresponding nodes that have the exact same enemies. So 3 different lanes, but you're gonna have the same characters that you're fighting in each lane. We got the mutant section here, we have the mystic section here, the bio, skill, and tech sections, and we're gonna go through each of them. Now, I'm on this section right here, and a lot of the big strategies that teams are using nowadays, or alliances are using nowadays, is to skip this section right here, do this one, and I think this is the easiest, especially if you have a lot of alliance mates that have some fully built Dr. Dooms, not baby Dooms, but some real Dr. Dooms, because I don't know how good Baby Doom is in these Doom Raids. But I start in this section right here, Mystic, Bio, pretty easy. We're gonna talk about some teams and some recommendations, and for that, let's go and take a look at the mutant that I have right now. So we got a lot of good mutants for that mutant section right now. And as you can see, we got the Dad Bros here. We got Emma Frost, Mr. Sinister, Phoenix, Colossus, but I think it's a pretty no-brainer right now that the Axemen are the best team for the Doom Raids. And I know some people run some sacrifice teams that run different teams for different nodes. I think you could fully do this thing with Axemen once you get them to around 400k. I was running some nodes beforehand, and I needed to go in for the sacrifice team, not for that main boss, because actually that main boss of the mutant section was actually a little easier for me than the one right before it. But once I got my Axemen to about 450, they could do all the nodes. So that's kind of the baseline there. Before that, you might need to use some sacrifice teams and using some other characters like Mr. Sinister and Phoenix. Let's start back in the map here. And the first node that I did was this one, but let's go back and talk about this one. I have not had a lot of experience with this node, but as you can see, the enemies don't look too tough, especially for the Axemen. You're gonna have a summon that Doc Ock is gonna do here. The Axemen should kill that. That should give them turn meter. Electro is another threat. Once you eliminate Doc Ock, Electro, I think you should be pretty good, and then eliminating the rest of these threats. I don't think the Axemen should have too much trouble with these, but I think the big bad threat there is going to be that Doc Ock. All right, next one is this node. This is the node that I normally start with, and this node is actually more challenging than the main boss to me. You got a few different issues right here. You got Squirrel Girl that could remove the debuffs that the Axemen applies. You got Bishop. Bishop is probably the biggest problem because there's increased damage in the nodes. It just does a lot. So those are my 2 threats that I'm trying to take out. You also have Red Guardian, who has that pre-match taunt, which poses some problems. Can't really get to Bishop and Squirrel Girl right away because of that. But these are the 2 targets that I want to take out right away, Squirrel Girl and Bishop. The rest of this node is not that bad. Now this next set of characters is a little tricky as well. Magneto, because he has that blinds that he can apply and pull everybody together. We got another Bishop there, and this Toad could be a problem as well because we have Blob coming up, and Toad, as you know, can apply that taunt to a Blob. So if you eliminate this Squirrel Girl, this Bishop, and this Bishop, I think it should be pretty good. And then this boss node, I find it pretty easy. Your main target that you want to take out is going to be Emma Frost, but you want to try to be killing a Greg on every single turn. So yeah, kill Greg and kill Emma Frost. Once you have Emma Frost down, then you can start to focus on some of these other characters like a Crystal, like a Merc Lieutenant, like a Black Bolt. Try to save Hela for last, because as you can see, when there's less than 6 enemies remaining, that is when this next wave is going to drop. And then obviously you try to take out Zemo and Taskmaster right away. These other enemies, not too big of a threat. But if you take out these guys, and then even if you have Hela with Greg's feeding speed bar to those Axemen, should be a pretty easy node right here. So that is the mutant nodes. Let's move on to the bio nodes of this, and we have 3 different nodes here. Let me pull up my bio characters in my game roster here, and let's go to my game roster. Obviously, the big team that you want to use is the symbiotes. You're going to use the symbiotes for all the nodes. If you don't have your symbiotes built up, you see a few other good characters here, but I've tried to bring in sacrifice teams to try to reset some cooldowns, especially in that last boss node, and nobody really works as well as the symbiotes. So build up your symbiotes if you want to get the Doom raids. Hopefully there's a better way to farm anti-venom soon, but Black Bolt's a good backup character. Invisible Woman is a good backup character if you're not running her with Yo-Yo. Obviously, running any protector on the same team as Yo-Yo is going to eliminate her passive. So using these on 2 probably separate backup teams, but there are good protectors. Captain Marvel works well. Crystal because of Black Bolt, and Yo-Yo if you're running that team. And then you got some wave on Avengers here. You have a Squirrel Girl here. You have some different options as far as that, but symbiotes are going to be your best option. Let's go into the nodes though, and talk about what are some threats that you want to take out. And obviously the big threat here is going to be Squirrel Girl again. She has a very low cooldown. She could clear debuffs off the team, very low cooldown on her special that she could do that with. So you want to take her out first, especially with a symbiote team that relies on a lot of debuffs on the team. Or on the enemy team. Miss Marvel can also be a threat because she has that taunt, and if you're going after Squirrel Girl, she can taunt. So you want to try to take out these 2. Ronan also can clear off debuffs, but it's not been as much of a problem for me. So once Squirrel Girl and Miss Marvel's eliminated, this node is pretty easy. You're going to want to take out Proxima as well because she's the big damage dealer, and then yeah, pretty easy after that. Ronan is actually, he has a debuff, but he calls those other Kree minions as well. So it's kind of a double-edged sword for the enemies. Does some good, some bad, but Ronan's not a huge threat because of those minions that he calls. Let's go back and look at the next node. This one is also a very friendly node for the symbiotes. Obviously, you want to try to save Hela for last because that continuous killing of Greg is good for the symbiotes. Big threat here is Jessica Jones, though. You want to try to take her out first if possible. We also have a taunt from Merc Radguard, so you want to be careful of that. And then obviously Taskmaster with his blinds, his stun that he can apply. So probably your first 2 targets that you want to take out is Taskmaster and Jessica Jones. Next, after that, when the next wave drops, is this Jessica Jones. And then this Falcon. You're going to have Falcon on that last wave, and once there's less than 6 enemies, Falcon is going to drop. That's also a big threat. Without Taskmaster, Jessica Jones, the other Jessica Jones, and Falcon, this node is pretty easy. And again, with a lot of these, or especially the Mutant and the Bio Lane, save Hela for last because you want Greg feeding that turn meter to the symbiotes. Let's move on to this next node, this last node. And this one is kind of a problem. I've had some tough times one-shotting this node, but I have also one-shotted in the past. So big threats obviously are characters that can clear debuffs, or cleansers. Jessica Jones is a big threat. Squirrel Girl down here on the next wave is a threat. Falcon is also another threat because of his speed bar and his big AoE. But Doctor Strange with his flipping of the buffs off of your team, which can be problematic, especially if you're saving that anti-venom ult for very early on. Doctor Strange can be a big problem. Not so much of a, I haven't found Ghost Rider to be too much of a problem, even with the enemies that I'm killing. And then another issue that I run into sometimes is Scarlet Witch, and when she redistributes the health. When I'm trying to get an enemy down below that, into that red, so I could get that passive of Carnage proccing, sometimes she screws it up. But sometimes it's a double-edged sword, because if she's redistributing an enemy or health that the enemies already were in the red, well, that's extra turn meter that I'm getting. So big threats again: Jessica Jones, Doctor Strange, Squirrel Girl, and Falcon. The rest of these guys, oh, and Mordo. Let's not forget Mordo. Mordo is also a threat. So the second wave is going to be the painful one. This one, not as much if you can get to these two characters here. But yes, that is the bio lanes let's move on to the next lanes, the skill lanes. And as we take a look at the skill roster, there are a lot of decent characters that you could bring into this skill. I think that my primary team, though, that I want to bring in is Red Guardian right here. Black Widow is on my primary team a lot. Zemo is on my primary team a lot. We also got Kestrel and then Night Nurse. Now, there's a lot of other good backup characters that I think have a lot of value as well. Proxima Midnight, obviously, she has a lot of value. Strong base that clears off positive effects off the enemies. We have Alta, the offense downs with her special. We have some turn meter removal and a stun with her ultimate. Very good character. Taskmaster is also another good backup character to bring in. Corvus Glaive, if you're pairing him with Proxima, I don't think Corvus has a lot of standalone value, but he does have some value with Proxima Midnight. Nick Fury also has some value now that Kestrel's in the game because, yeah, he got more health. And if you bring in a shield minion, he also gives them some value as well. But those are my primary targets, guys. Red Guardian, Black Widow, Zemo, Kestrel, and Night Nurse for my primary team. Taskmaster, Fury, Proxima, and Corvus for my backup characters. So I guess Tony, Fury is in my top 10. Let's go into the nodes though and talk about some of these individual strategies for some of these nodes. It can be tricky because you're not getting all that turn meter like you did with the mutants, like you did with the symbiotes. But I still want to take out Jessica Jones very, very early on because that skill team relies on a lot of debuffs, a lot of ability blocks. There's some stuns. There's some blinds there that they want to apply. So Jessica Jones can remove all that, can totally script the team. So she is still the first threat. Hella, I'm not saving her for last because there's no turn meter gain. They're not the symbiotes. They're not the Axemen that's going to get a bunch of turn meter by killing a bunch of Gregs. But so she is going to be an early on target. And then the next target I try to focus on is Anti-Venom because he could bring back Venom. He could bring back Carnage. And I don't want them bringing back enemies that could kill me. So yes, Anti-Venom goes first and then probably Venom. Punisher, not as big of a threat as I thought he would be. Maybe it's because my skill team is built up decently, but he's not doing as much damage as I thought. Maybe it's some of the defense ups from Red Guardian, but not a big threat from the Punisher. Let's move on to that next node of that skill lane, and we're getting some loading times here from MSF.G. There we go. All right, and as we take a look at the next skill lane, big threats here. We got two big threats. We got Doctor Strange. I try to blind him with my Taskmaster for this node because I want him using that special. I want him wasting that special, getting no benefit from that. So I try to blind him, and I try to either stun or ability block Taskmaster right here, depending who I'm bringing in. Those are my two big threats. After that, I try to take out X-Ring 3 before this wave drops. And then after that, it is just whoever's around. Normally, I'm going after Ironheart right here, but Merc Lieutenant actually goes down pretty quick as well. So it's usually these characters and Rhino that's remaining, and Negasonic. So after you take out Taskmaster and Doctor Strange, Lieutenant, X-Ring 3, this node is pretty easy. It's just a matter of time chipping away at these characters with your Kestrel and your and surviving long enough for your Red Guardian. And the last skill node is probably the toughest one because you have a Doctor Doom. And if you don't have Kestrel, this is going to be a little challenging. So as Doctor Doom is the first one that I want to take out. Trying to get an ability block with a Zemo or someone that can apply that there. You got an Ebony Maw as well, and he starts off with an immunity, so you can't right away apply negative effects to him. A little challenging. My kill order normally goes Doctor Doom, then Maw, then Cyclops. After that, it's a lot easier, but you want to be careful of these Namors because 3 Namors on the field doing 3 AoE attacks can get pretty messy for your team. Proxima Midnight is also a little bit of a threat. And then Mr. Fantastic, you want to try to take him out before this last wave drops, just so he's not getting as many of these assists. But that is that wave. Once Doom goes down, this wave is pretty easily beaten. But you're going to need to keep your Kestrel alive because she is very relevant in the next wave. All right, and now it is on to the 2 more challenging sections, the Tech and the Mystic sections. Just started doing this a little while ago, just about a week or so ago, since Kestrel was introduced to the game. Now we're reliably beating this skill section on this far right lane. And yes, now we're getting the Tech and Mystic. So I got to give Commander from my alliance a big shout out. He's the one that actually told me about that Doc Ock and Squirrel Girl team for war defense. It was him that told me about that team. And he's the one that gave me some tips for each of these nodes because I'm not as well versed in these nodes yet. I just, and I don't have the characters. Let's talk about the characters that I think you need. So I think a big thing to the Mystic and the Tech sections is Doctor Doom. but a real Doctor Doom, not this baby Doctor Doom, not getting through Dark Dimension 4 once. You need to get through it twice to get the real Doctor Doom. That's 7-star, 7 gold star Doctor Doom. The one with, I think it's 4 red stars on him. Yeah, that's the one that's going to be good in the Doom raids, not this baby Doom. So get through it the next time. But in the meantime, who I am running right now on the tech lanes is Kestrel, Shuri, Doc Ock. I'm running Ultron. Now, I think Doctor Doom is going to be the better character there, or I know Doctor Doom is the better character there, but Ultron not as bad as a replacement, and then obviously Ghost because that percent base damage. Now, some backup characters that I want to talk about. Falcon, because of his speed, his AoE attack is okay as well, and then Scientist Supreme, particularly for that first node with a lot of debuffs that I don't really have a way to cleanse with this team. So let's go back into the nodes and talk about some of these individuals right here. Now, this node for me without Dr. Doom is particularly challenging. We're getting a bunch of debuffs from Electro, Magneto, and Pyro all stacking onto my team very early on. And if I don't have someone clearing off the buffs or the debuffs off my team, it gets very challenging. So sometimes I bring a sacrifice team with Scientist Supreme. Apparently, though, if you have Dr. Doom, he could just wipe out this whole wave with his special there. Yes, that should lead into wiping this lane out very easily. So if you have Dr. Doom, very easy. If you don't have your Dr. Doom, you might want to bring in a sacrifice team. Maybe someone with the Scientist Supreme to get rid of some of these debuffs, and then bringing in your main team with your good tech characters. All right, moving on to the next node. Now, this is a one that I don't have as much experience in as well, but the big threat here is going to be Yellow Jacket, and you want to make sure that you save your Doc Ock special until Yellow Jacket is on the field. You don't want him killing your Shocker. Yellow Jacket and Ghost are the big threats right here, and even though you may not have Doom mods on the field, if you have Dr. Doom, your special might wipe out Ghost and Yellow Jacket. Once these guys are down, though, then the rest of the wave is pretty easy. Moving on to the next wave, you need to wait for the Fury to drop, and that is when you need to start to look for saving up your ultimate for Dr. Doom. To flip, not to Dr. Doom, Dr. Octopus, for flipping these buffs, flipping a couple of the buffs on the enemy team. After that, it should be a pretty easy cleanup, but yeah, you want to time the special of Doc Ock based on when Ghost and Yellow Jacket are on the field. You want Yellow Jacket going first, and then you want to time your ultimate of Doc Ock as well. That's the important thing for this node. All right, and now it's time for that challenging main boss node of the tech section. Let's go in and look at the node itself, and oh, some rough characters here. We see a Dr. Doom, we see a Falcon, we see a Doc Ock, we see a Black Bolt. Dr. Doom needs to be your focus. He could take out a whole team if you let him get enough bots on the field and he does his special. So you want to limit his bots with that Kestrel charged mechanic. You want to time that with that Dr. Octopus bot control or the summon so that you're not getting too many bots on the field from Dr. Doom. So you want to try to control him. You want to take him out. And then you want to try to take out Falcon. Falcon's very important because that speed, that ultimate can do a lot of damage, especially from the enemy team. And then Black Bolt. Once you have those guys done from this wave, the next wave should be dropping. And then you got a big problem with Rescue here. So you want to take out Rescue because you can take off all of the negative effects off of the enemy team, give them more barrier. She could be a big problem, guys. So take her out. And my Alliance Mate Commander says that he usually quits out of the first run right before this War Machine big ultimate, unless War Machine is dead. But once Rescue's down on this wave, once Black Bolt is down on this wave, pretty easy sailing after that. You definitely don't want to leave 3 Black Bolts on the field. 3 burps can be a big challenge. So make sure you take out the Black Bolt on this wave. Make sure you take out the Black Bolt and the Rescue on this wave, and then should be good after that. Let's move on to the last and final section, that Mystic section. All right, here are my Mystic characters. Obviously, I'm missing this big key character, just like with the tech lanes of Dr. Doom. But yes, Dark Dimension 4. Hopefully you get through that fast because that's going to make the tech and Mystic lanes a lot easier. But what I'm running right now is Thanos, Maw, Silver Surfer, Hela, and down here Mordo. And I actually got that idea from a infographic that WolverThor did a few days ago, and we were actually going to make this video together. He got really busy though, so Make sure you check out the link down below. I'm going to link to his channel and his infographic that he did. But Mortal runs very good, especially with Hela, but some other backup characters that work well in the Mystic lanes. Obviously, you want Doom. Ghost Rider works pretty good as well. Loki works pretty good as well. And those are all that I would bring up. I guess if you have a very big Doctor Strange, he'll work as well. But let's go and take a look at these nodes here, guys. So this first node right here, and because you're bringing in Ebony Maw, you want to pay attention to hero controllers. So the hero controllers right here are going to be Hawkeye, and it's going to be Black Widow. So pay attention when you drop those, because that's when you're going to get that immunity from Ebony Maw. That's when you're going to get a little barrier as well. But the big threat that you want to eliminate is going to be Mortal. You're going to take him out first. You don't want those heal blocks going all over the place. So that's a big threat right here. And then watch when you drop Hawkeye, because he is a hero controller for that Ebony Maw. Next wave, you can put some disrupts on. For probably first would be Hulk and then Captain America, because Hulk's taunt is usually first. Black Widow is also a hero controller, so watch when you drop her. But that's pretty much this wave. Very, very easy if you have Doom. A little challenging if you don't have Doom, but still, you can still drop that node even without Dr. Doom. Next is this Mystic lane, and this is not that bad of a lane as well. But again, let's pay attention to the hero controllers. We have Vision, we have Mr. Fantastic, we have Coulson, we have Scarlet Witch, that all are hero controllers. So pay attention when you drop them because of Ebony Maw and that barrier and that immunity. And the big threat here that you want to go after first, guys, is this guy Falcon, because of the speed that he could do, his big ultimate. You also want to make sure that Mr. Fantastic gets dropped also before this next wave goes down. So go Falcon, then go Mr. Fantastic, and then this next wave should drop, and this is going to drop once less than 4 enemies remain. So as soon as Mr. Fantastic goes, this next wave is dropping. And then you can pay attention to Vision, Scarlet Witch, and Coulson. They're all hero controllers, all very important for Maw. And that should be it. This Torch is going to be a problem as well, so try to take him out before She-Hulk taunts. And then that will leave us with this big bad boss node, and this is another challenging node. You got a Squirrel Girl here again. One of the biggest threats in any of these raid nodes is Squirrel Girl, because her low cooldown removing debuffs is annoying. So ability block, Squirrel Girl. My goodness, I couldn't remember her name. Ability block with Silver Surfer for 2 turns. Spread it with Hela. Hopefully it spreads to Doom, and that should make Doom a little easier. Doom can take out this wave, but if you don't, I guess you can muddle along with some of these other characters like Silver Surfer and Hela and Mortal. Mortal is also spreading some blinds across the field, so hopefully that makes things a little better if you're not going in with that full Dr. Doom, the big invisible Dr. Doom. Second wave, the big threat on this one is going to be Invisible Woman. And then the last one, you got to have that ability energy ready for Silver Surfer, because you need the ability block Squirrel Girl, and that's the big threats there. Once these two are down, she's down, and this last Squirrel Girl, the rest of these characters not that much of a threat. But the 2 Squirrel Girls, Dr. Doom and Invisible Woman, those are your big problems. And once you handle those problems, should be pretty good. And that is it, guys. Those are some tips for Doom raids. I hope that helps you. Hope it helps you, gives you some clarity on which characters you should be building, and some clarity when you go into these nodes, who you should be targeting. What is the first target you should be going after? Hope this helps you guys start to beat these Doom raids on a daily basis, either the 30 or the 60%. We're not at the 100% level yet either, but yes, hopefully it gets you at least to that 30% level or that 60% level once you got these characters, and hopefully provides you a little more clarity on which characters you need to build. Let me know if this helps, guys. Let me know if there's other strategies that you guys are using that's working for you guys and your alliance, and hopefully it helps everybody to smash these Doom raids soon before this First Strike version goes away and the Silver Surfer starts to go away, guys. That is it. I will see you guys next time. If this video helped you, share this with your alliance mates, share this with everyone you know. Check out some of my other videos. Check out some of the sponsors down below. Amazon coins, you can save up to 20% off all your purchases. And BlueStacks, guys, it is my emulator of choice. Hulk fist bump. Oh yeah, baby. ValleyFlyin out. Have a great rest of your day, guys.